It's Friday the 13th, and it's also 713 July 13th. So what are people doing? They're coming here to 713 Tattoo Parlor and getting these Friday the 13th themed tattoos. Tom, as you can see behind me, there are lots of folks out here enjoying the great music, ice skating, and of course all the holiday lights that Discovery Green has to offer. Now, in the back of the book, there's actually a lot of really neat facts about the storm for kids as well. If you'd like to find this book, you can come here to Barings, this location, or the one off Post Oak. It's lit up red, white, and blue for President Bush, but there's also a sight to see down below as folks attending were asked to wear funky socks. When Juan woke up, he contacted his neighbors, and they noticed that several other streets with different cars got hit as well, like this one and this one. Back in 2014, Ben Ryder, who's a writer for Sports Illustrated, predicted that the Astros would win the World Series in 2017 if they had a few good years of draft picks. Well, guess what? As we know, they did just that. So tonight I had a chance to catch up with him about what he's working on and his future predictions. And within an hour time frame, of course, very scary for those victims. Now, Katy, police are asking for your help catching the suspect. Jonathan, it's not every day that somebody gets to go to a World Series game, and what a game it was tonight. I spoke with one woman who says that her grandson gave her tickets as a surprise gift. Now, this book covers everything from evacuations during the storm to how we've recovered ever since.
H is for hurricane, spinning wild in the ocean. Harvey's its name, stirring up the commotion. H is for hashtags found tweet after tweet. Social media requests for help down street after street.
As Julie Beasley reads parts from her new book, H is for Harvey, she relives what happened a year ago and how it could be used to teach a younger generation.
And I thought, wouldn't it be great to have a children's book that kids could really understand what happened on their level during Harvey.
H is for homeless, four-legged.
And something that the kids that were part of the storm, who experienced it firsthand, but then also for kids like my own who were not directly affected.
So Beasley came up with a book teaching kids about everything that happened, from the rescues to how people use social media to help each other, to the shelters and recovery efforts.
So my children are 4 and 2. My 4-year-old remembers the storm, remembers all the rain, has lots of questions, so it was good for her to be able to actually see this book and it correlate back to a lot of the questions she had and has been asking ever since Harvey.
Wading in rising waters.
Beasley says she hopes to get her book in schools one day so that children can learn what H also stands for: humanity.
It's truly inspiring and some heartbreaking, but it's just, I'm so impressed with the resilience of people, how as they're dealing with Harvey even a year later. And we have Texas, we are with you, Texas, we are with you, Texas, we are with you.
Now, in the back of the book, there's actually a lot of really neat facts about the storm for kids as well. If you'd like to find this book, you can come here to Barings, this location, or the one off Post Oak. Waved on by a sea of United Airlines employees and passengers, Haley Dawson and her family arrived at Bush Intercontinental Airport. And her mission in Houston this weekend?
I'm going to throw out the first pitch.
It isn't just a dream, too. She's actually doing it. MLB heard her remarkable story and sent her and her family on an all-expenses-paid trip to Houston. Not only did they get to watch the game Friday night, this 7-year-old girl gets to throw out the first pitch Saturday.
She threw it at the college game and decided, when am I going to get to go to the professionals? And since our Little League team was the Orioles, she wanted to throw I'm from Maryland, so it was a natural fit.
I threw out the first pitch at the National Stadium.
What makes her throw extra special is how she does it, with her 3D printed robotic arm.
She has something called Poland syndrome, so she was born without her 3 middle fingers, and the 2 outer fingers are just like cartilage. There's no bone in it, and so and it also affected the right side of her pectoral.
So of course I had her show me how it's done.
Have you been practicing?
Yes.
And when I asked the family who they were cheering for this weekend,
I'm kind of cheered for both.
We're going to be impartial because of where we are.
What are you cheering for?
The Astros.
What do you want to tell them?
Good luck.
As soon as Thanksgiving ends and December begins, folks start busting out their holiday boxes and pulling out their lights, stringing them up. And it's no secret the River Oaks neighborhood is hard to beat when it comes to putting on a show.
As the sun sets, more and more cars are seen driving down River Oaks Boulevard. The lights slowly start turning on, sparkling yellow, red, green, blue, and of course, sometimes hot pink too.
We love to just see all the lights. Maud loves it too, just to gaze up in awe and just feel the Christmas spirit. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to start a family tradition, and we get some hot cocoa and walk around and look at the beautiful lights.
We go all out because we don't get snow, and so this is sort of our version of being Christmassy without the typical winter background.
Jan Bress has put up lights for several years now, and for her, the holidays are full of fond memories.
There's a lot of foot traffic, and I've had 2 people come and knock on the door and ask if they could get engaged under my lights.
The Double Daves off Rayford Road here in Spring has been open for years, and they've actually flooded twice, once on Memorial Day and during Harvey. Because of this, they're having to close, but not before doing what they do best, giving back to the community. The last few years have been pretty rough for Donna and Kelly Gregory. These snapshots taken during Harvey show over 4 feet of water inside their Double Dave's restaurant. At the time, another franchise owner loaned them a trailer and they continued business, serving pizza to volunteers and those who had just lost everything, even when they themselves were trying to recover.
That allowed us to help the community because it's like I would tell them, this is just a business. It can be our baby, but I had a place to lay my head down. And a lot of these people didn't so much.
For me to actually know that they're actually closing this place down is so emotional. The amount of nerves I have right now is all caked up. I'm trying to hold the tears back.
Ronald Sims, a customer of many years, came in to give the Gregorys one last hug. Back when he was going through a hard time, the pair welcomed he, his wife, and 4 kids in for food several times a week, free of charge.
My kids spent many a days and nights watching TV till 8, 9 o'clock. And then we leave here and get in our Camaro and go park at a Walmart and go to sleep. And for us to lose such a pillar like this it's an emotional roller coaster.
Christmas Eve marked the pizza joint's last day of being open, and to continue their tradition of giving, the Gregorys handed out pizza after pizza, all for free.
Merry Christmas. Just wanted to thank them. We really enjoyed it, and we thank them, and we enjoyed being able to give back to them. So that's what today's about, is again giving back to them.
The Gregorys wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and to thank everyone that came out one last time to support them. In Spring, Lindsey Henry, Fox 26 News. A few days before Christmas, and Sir Romeo Milam got a big surprise.
Look here, Miss Erica got you something.
Hi, how are you?
All this for you.
Christmas presents, and lots of them.
We're with a group called One Houston, One Hood. And what we do is we go out and we mentor gang members. And we try to decrease gang violence in the city of Houston. Of course, we knew what happened to this young man. And, you know, all these months he's been in the hospital, 30 surgeries, and he finally was going to come home. So we just wanted to make sure that he had a good Christmas.
I think that this outpouring of love from our organization and from the community will just give this young man a little hope. He's fought for his life, so now it's our turn to fight for his.
Friday, for the first time in 7 months, Sir Romeo wasn't in a hospital bed. He was outside playing with his friends.
He actually got to the hospital yesterday. Thank God for that.
My dad helped me walk.
Inside a new room, he showed us his wounds and talked about how he's in physical therapy 3 times a week.
Because I think they're working on the eating and the walking.
A big step for someone so little.
Just because he's out of the hospital does not mean that he ended there. You know, he's still got healing to do on the inside. There's certain things that he can and can't do, or he'll end up back in the hospital in surgery. So we're just trying to take it one day at a time.
Back in 2014, Ben Ryder, who's a writer for Sports Illustrated, predicted that the Astros would win the World Series in 2017 if they had a few good years of draft picks. Well, guess what? As we know, they did just that. So tonight I had a chance to catch up with him about what he's working on and his future predictions. In a sea of blue and orange flowing into Minute Maid Park, there's this guy. Ben Ryder, a writer by heart.
Look, we always believed in the prediction, but to see it actually come true, that was something else.
He's talking about this magazine. Back in 2014, Ryder published an article about the Astros that landed on the front cover of Sports Illustrated with a shot of George Springer, predicting that in 2017 the Astros would take home their first ever World Series win.
We got a lot of hate for that article and that prediction, especially in Houston, I want to say. Not so many people were believing that this terrible team would turn it around, but we did see a glimmer of hope back then in the plan that they put together. Not everything went perfectly over the next 3.5 years, but clearly it went well enough.
I think that's crazy. I actually kind of can't believe that it happened. You know, you see it as a player and you're like, oh, cool, you know, I mean, that'd be awesome. And then all of a sudden it happened and we're kind of like, well, you know what I mean? It's a surreal moment. So I'm glad that it did happen, and then, you know, hopefully it can happen again.
And to celebrate, the writer took pen to paper and drafted a new type of story, his first book.
I'll tell you what I did to celebrate. I sat down at my desk and I started writing this book, Astro Ball. Look, I think that people who read this book will learn all sorts of new things about the Astros that they didn't know. They'll learn certainly about the strategies the front office pursued to put together this winner, but they'll learn the backstories of Carlos Correa, Jose Altuve, Dallas Keuchel to a level I don't think anybody knows.
I want to know if he's got us doing it again. I mean, he's 1 for 1, I guess, on our team. So I'm interested. But it's cool. You know, he's a cool guy. You know, he knows a lot about the game. So I'm happy he's here.
Ryder is in town promoting that new book. He'll actually be at Brazos Bookstore at 7 p.m. tomorrow when it goes on sale. That's tomorrow. And after that book signing, he'll be at Little Woodrow's in Midtown. Live at Minute Maid Park, Lindsey Henry, Fox 26 News. As guests walked into Energy Stadium to take their seats, music played, flowers were laid out, and pictures were displayed of the man we all knew to be Bob McNair.
I was a kid from a small town in Pewaukee, but I think that, especially like we heard today, Mr. McNair kind of embodied what the American dream was all about. And I consider myself and all my teammates lucky that we were able to accomplish our dreams via his team, so we're all very lucky.
McNair passed away the day after Thanksgiving and a week before President George H.W. Bush. Their common friend, James Baker III, speaking on their behalf.
Houston has lost 2 of its very greatest and admired adopted sons.
Giving a eulogy that talked about how the man moved to Houston many years ago and ended up bringing the NFL to town later on.
He became a Houston success story, progressing from a car rental business that he had started with $700 to developing Cogen Technologies, an energy company that he sold for $1.5 billion.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell spoke, as well as Dr. Harris Pastides, president of the University of South Carolina, where McNair attended college, and pastor of Memorial Drive Presbyterian Church, Dr. David Peterson. Governor Greg Abbott and Senator Ted Cruz also attended, and Houston Texans star J.J. Watt mentioned all Bob McNair had done for not just him, but the entire community.
And that's what Mr. McNair did, is he would do the kindest things at random moments, and he would do it many times when people had no idea that he was doing it. So I consider myself, like I said, lucky to have known him, lucky to have learned from him, and I can only hope that I'm making him proud in the way that we represent his organization.